If almost all of us are having these experiences, could we call it normal instead of paranormal? Does it have to be weird and unusual? Can it just be what's now and next and now and next and now? Could it just be what we're waking up to and breathing into and allow it to be scientific if that's what it takes for us to honor it? Could we drop into this and explore it? And so when we do, we start to see the oneness reflected in our lives. Welcome back to the Art of Awakening, everyone, where the art of living awake becomes a daily practice. I'm your host, Dr. Sue Morter, and today we're exploring remote healing and the ability to influence healing energy across space and time, the non-local part of you. And not only that, but your ability to do that as well. So what if healing isn't limited by physical proximity? We have definitely trained our senses to perceive things in a certain way, and science is showing us, and spirituality has been telling us for thousands of years, that there's something greater than that. There's something bigger, more profound, more far-reaching than just being in the space with someone. While that is beautiful and wonderful and hands-on healing is immense, there is also a version of us that could expand into this unified field and support others and ourselves no matter where we are, no matter what is going on. And so in this episode, we're going to talk about the science and spirituality behind remote healing and how to access and direct healing energy for yourself and others. All right, so let's dive in. Now, remote healing is the ability to influence energy and healing without being physically present. That's, hence the word remote. And it works through the unified field where everything is connecting beyond space and time. So, what's that mean? So think about this. There is an energetic spectrum that moves from very dense and very local and very physical to the other end of the spectrum, which is completely omnipresent, which is completely high vibrational frequency, refined, pure essence. And that full spectrum is the unified field. And so we're used to living on one end of the spectrum. And what science is showing us is that actually we're all the way up at the other end of the spectrum as well. We're not located only there. We are the full spectrum, the full keyboard. So think about it like a keyboard on your piano. We're used to just playing in the lower half of that keyboard, and we pray to the other. We know that the other is there. We want for it. We try to aspire to receive from it. And in doing so, we hone and refine our identity. We develop ourselves as we even are aware of this higher end of the spectrum. And so with remote healing and internal healing, what we're actually doing is edging our way up while maintaining our true anchoring at the lower end of this spectrum. We're edging our way up the keyboard to these higher notes, not as though they are something separate from us, but as though we are including more and more of our true nature to include these high vibrational frequencies. And so while we do that, we become capable of being in touch with and resonating with higher and higher vibrational frequencies. So a lot of times in energy medicine speak and self-healing speak and this deeper inquiry that our humanity is really becoming interested in, a lot of times we speak about the fact that this energy is to raise in its vibration. We're to get our energy to raise in vibration so that we can heal. And it's a really pretty common conversation inside of those deeper explorations, where if I can raise my vibration from carrying anger and angst and hurt and being connected to a story from the past that's dragging me down, if I can free myself of that, I raise my vibration and I can heal. But what oftentimes gets left out of the conversation is that while you're doing that, you could also be busy making a difference in the world in a bigger way than you even know, than you have known, but you can know it because as you raise your internal vibration for personal healing, you're also being able to resonate, meaning relate to, these higher vibrational frequencies that are common ground between all of us. In fact, if we go all the way up that keyboard to the high keys on it and the highest end of the energetic spectrum, everyone shares that. That's what we call the unified field or God or the 0 point field, where there's zero differentiation. We share it in common. And so truly the unified field is that, and it's also all the way down the spectrum. But the further down the spectrum we get, the more differentiated we get into our own personal innuendos and our personal vibrational signatures and the stories that we hold and what we collect and what we hold as valuable and true, etc. But as we progress up that scale, we actually become relatable to all. We're not in a little pigeonhole. We're not a silo. We're actually playing in the realm where everyone else's foundation is also. And the more we do that, the more we're actually unifying people and places and circumstances. We're actually in touch with the bottom line for everyone. If we get all the way up to this highest vibrational frequency, we're actually operating in a space where we share common space. And what I feel is what you feel. And if I'm grounded and integrated enough, that doesn't knock me over. In fact, I'm bringing that high vibration into everything that I do. And so as I'm bringing it, I'm flooding the space with it. And as such, my local environment is definitely going to be benefiting from that. But also, I'm dialing into a frequency that is the same as my dear friend in Europe, and that is the same as my dear friend or colleague in South America. We're dialing into the same thing. So I can sense and feel and perceive what is happening there by allowing my senses to become supersensory. So when we become aligned with and acclimated to higher and higher up this spectrum, we literally develop our senses in a different way. It's pretty profound. In fact, I've been working with it with people for years and teaching them how to do this. And so what we end up doing is not being overwhelmed like an empath can be overwhelmed by what's happening around them. It is a matter of grounding and integrating in our own system so that, and pouring in this high vibrational frequency that we are getting to know, and accepting it and receiving it and becoming it. And as we do, we are able to have an influence on other rather than be bombarded and impacted, etc. So we become this blazing bonfire that's transmuting things in our lives and in the lives of those on the other side of the planet. People that we know and love, of course, but also people that we've never met. Because when we're dialing into these frequencies, it's this broadcast system that covers every radio station. It's the one that if something needed to be shared around the world, it could be. And it's all founded in some certain vibrations that you have access to every day, every moment. And so, quantum science shows us that particles remain entangled, meaning that they are connected no matter how far apart they are, that they're talking to each other, if you will. There is a relationship, even if they're projected thousands of miles away. They maintain the same resonance. It's an entanglement that doesn't mean physically entangled. It means, I got you. I know you. I understand you. I'm with you. We've experienced this through all sorts of moments where maybe we think of someone that we haven't thought about for years, and boom, all of a sudden it's like they're here. They're in our consciousness, and 2 days later, you get an email from them. They looked you up on Facebook, or they're doing something to reach out, or someone else mentions them, and you begin to realize there's some kind of tapestry here that is at work. Or you have an inspiration, an intuition, and then you fall asleep and you don't even realize or remember it. And the next day, someone says, here's what we're doing. And it was that exact thing that you were connected to. This is what I'm talking about. We've all had these experiences, and it's time for us to embrace that and allow it to be not this unusual happening, but rather to be something that we're honing and mastering and honoring, because it gives us so much more power. It's not only that we have an influence on someone around the world, but we also are able to receive and perceive things before they happen, a precognitive sort of disposition. And without that sounding too out there, I want you to know that it's been happening all of your life, because it's your true nature. But we weren't trained to embrace it. We weren't trained to explore it. We weren't trained to accept it. When I first started having some of these experiences, they were so profound. I literally could call them miraculous now when I look back at them. But at the moment, I was so immersed in being smaller than we really are, like so many of us are, that it occurred and I sort of remembered it. And if anybody ever asked me about it, I could certainly share about it. But I didn't allow it to come in and actually mean something about how I'm going to interpret life and how I'm going to proceed and progress and what I'm going to do with that. And so it sort of remains dormant, half dormant in many of us. In fact, I would venture to guess that that would be true for you too. I've been speaking in rooms with thousands of people in the audience and asked them, how many of you have had some of these experiences like what I just described to you, where you thought of someone and then they send you an email, or you had an idea and you show up at work and somebody else is like bringing that in as a new project and so on. So it's this paranormal activity. How many of you have had something like that? And here I am talking to thousands of doctors and their staff and their assistants, and almost 100% of the people would raise their hand. And so my question would be, if almost all of us are having these experiences, could we call it normal instead of paranormal? Does it have to be weird and unusual? Can it just be what's now and next and now and next and now? Could it just be what we're waking up to and breathing into? And allow it to be scientific, if that's what it takes for us to honor it? Could we drop into this and explore it? And so when we do, we start to see the oneness reflected in our lives. We start to see the connectedness that is described in spiritual traditions around the world. We're all a part of this same energy field, and all we need to do is enliven it and honor it. Here's what we know about the mind. Anything we put our mind onto magnifies. And when it magnifies, it becomes more tangible, it becomes more real, because we are literally walking through a movie that we are creating as we're walking through it. So I'm just inviting you to allow that movie to be a little more interesting, to be a little bit beyond what the neighbors are doing and what happened at work today and whether or not you're getting along with your kids or your spouse, etc., and have that be your existence. There's more to it. There's more to life. There's more to you. And we can all lean into this. We were born with innate healing capacities. We were absolutely born of the full keyboard, but we were trained to hone our attention right in here, make it real, make it tangible. And all of our lives since before school, and then all through school, we are trained to look into the finite world and measure it and work with it, etc. Never mind that we're made of the infinite, that it actually never ends, that upper end of that spectrum. Never mind that we're made of this, literally what we call divine frequencies, that are just frequencies that are so high that we consider it a miracle if we experience them, because it doesn't happen very often. We consider them sacred because they have more answers than the ones that we're living in. And so the invitation is, why don't we just pull our mind into living there and allowing that sacred and that divine essence to flow through us and to be us on a regular basis. And in doing so, we activate different systems in our body with this ultimate energy flow, instead of sitting and hoping and praying that it comes into my life in some mysterious, unexpected moment, in some mysterious, unknown way. We are here at a precipice of awakening. We are here realizing that science and spirituality are starting to converge so much. We're having to redefine some of the ways that we think about this, with the ways that we think about healing, the ways that we think about everything, the ways that we think about our own potential and our own highest selves. That highest self is it's sitting in the divine. It's sitting in that realm that we don't experience on a regular basis until we do. So all of the work that I'm doing is showing people how to awaken to that and to embody it. And in the process of awakening and embodying and awakening and embodying, we become more capable of connecting to higher and higher frequencies that everyone around the world can share. Everyone around the world does share it, and it's just a matter of them realizing it. And here's the beauty of it. You can have a healing impact in the world without the other person even being able to reach on a conscious level the states of energy that you are working with, the ones that you're embodying, the ones that you're allowing. Because everything is energy, it's all rippling through to the energy field of someone on the other side of the planet, whether they know it or not. So here's the beauty of it. It only works when you're in the yes. It doesn't work when you're trying to send a hoax on somebody or, put the kibosh on something. That only affects you. It reverberates inside of a system that is of an entirely different vibrational frequency than the one of the magnificent yes, than the one of infinite possibility and the desire to do good in the world, to be oriented in that way is the only way you get in. And so the beauty of this is that is the only thing that can ultimately be transmitted across space and time. And the wonder of that is the more you're interested in it, the more it influx and influences into your own system and elevates your frequency. There's a divine continuum, literally, of this highest frequency energy compressing and compressing, compressing and compressing and compressing all the way to the physical form. And so that continuum is designed to be flowing through you and out into the movie of your life. And so as you are interested in being of service to others, that rush of energy flows through you and into your movie. And so it isn't about you getting and catching and having only. It's about you then overflowing and offering and sharing. And that's what we're doing when we're talking about remote healing and being able to be in touch with these things that are beyond what the regular eye can see. Everything is energy, and energy literally has no boundaries because everything is energy. It's just a matter of what vibrational frequency we're tapped into, what we're dialed into. And when we dial into the healing domain, we dissolve discordant interferences in the energy field. They literally dissolve, they burn up. It's like you're this bonfire that is blazing, and everything that is not love, everything that is not this highest intention and this desire to serve can't survive in the presence of you. So it really comes down to mastering the mind. It comes down to allowing your mind to open. And the easiest way for you to get your mind to open is to drop it into your core and be aware of what's happening in your belly and in the pelvic floor and in your heart on a regular basis. And if you are in an integrated moment and feeling that desire to do good in the world or to emanate the joy, if everyone could experience even a fraction of the joy and the potency that I am feeling, I would love to share it. If you ever have a moment like that, and I hope you do, you are primed for just sending it, allowing it to be true over there and over there and over there and over there, by allowing yourself to expand into more and more of the truth of who you are. And then when you bring your attention onto someone, it's not about you projecting yourself over there. It's about bringing them into this field that you are, as your field is getting bigger and bigger to the point that it actually encompasses the earth and beyond. That's the truth of you. You're bigger than this body. The earth is your body. You're even bigger than the body of earth when it comes to you recognizing that the whole of the manifest world is based in consciousness. This is what science is showing us, that the whole of everything that you've ever known is based in perception. It's based in our consciousness alone. And so as we wake up to more and more of our conscious individuation, as we wake up to more and more of that expression of ourselves, we start to encompass the ability to make profound difference in the world, profound difference for all of humanity. So when we enhance the frequencies of love in that domain, when we enhance the frequencies of love from the inside of our grounded self in here, out into this biofield, and the biofield becomes the unified field as we refine it and refine it and refine it. by dropping into ourselves and magnifying the love. That field literally emanates around the planet and beyond. Because what we know about becoming physical is that from the non-physical world, the series of compressions that it takes to get into physical expression generates a vibrational frequency, the very first compression. And that compression is the frequency that we call love. And so, if we are loving, we are as big as you can get and even be in the physical manifest world, which is bigger than the earth. The manifest world includes the entire cosmos. It includes all the constellations. So immediately, you got to start thinking bigger than you have been. So if you could just look up at the night sky and imagine, wow, that's me too. Those little sparks called stars or sparks of neurons in your own brain, if you want to think about how big you are and what science is really showing us. So when we start breaking the seal on that and allowing ourselves to be more and more profoundly present in the world, in the universe as the truth of who we are, the idea of remote healing is like, no brainer. Yeah, I was just thinking about you. Boom. And I was thinking about you not in terms of the story of our lives, but I was thinking about you in the foundation of your very existence. I was thinking about the love that we share just by knowing each other. I was thinking about the beauty of life, and it included you. And what starts to happen is they tune in. They tune into you, tune into them too. And the next thing you know, there's this community of love happening in an animated fashion. And you can feel that you're a part of that. That changes everything about how your subconscious operates. It changes how willing you are to lay down the story and the history of your life and the pain that you've been through and holding the grudges and inventing the fears to worry about in the future based upon it. All of the all begins to change. When you send energy from love and compassion, it amplifies this healing effect. When you sit and be that energy, amplifies it even more. And you call those people, being all of humanity, if you would so choose, into the bonfire that is you. Now you really start to magnify what is capable in terms of facilitating and assisting and being the prayer, the guide of the prayer for anyone, no matter where they are. So many benefits of doing this. Remote healing can help reduce stress and promote relaxation and support the body's natural healing process. I mean, that's a given. And supporting healing on every level in your life, because now you're starting to dial your mind into the fact that, hey, I'm not just physical. I'm not just this mental, emotional being that's trying to, clod through life and make it through another day and make this stuff work until I can retire. There's a little bit more than that going on with you. There's an entire realm, another version of you that just waits for you to explore it. And as you do, you start to feel free. And emotional states heal, and mental misperceptions heal, and relationships heal because you've healed. You've integrated yourself into a bigger version of who you are. And anytime you want to solve a problem, you have to get to a bigger bird's eye view. You have to get to another level of consciousness to solve the problems that we perceive in our lives. And so if you can expand into a bigger context, you're going to heal more things. And if you can expand into an even bigger context, you're going to heal even more things. So why not? So it's about opening the mind, dropping into the heart, letting the heart melt the boundaries that have been keeping you in a container that you do not belong in. It also provides a sense of connection and support, even from a distance. You can literally feel the love that is beaming toward you and the exchanges that are happening on a daily basis. And when you are attuned to that, your mind does that. It doesn't get into writing stories about worst case scenarios and how bad is this thing going to go that I'm about to get into, or what's the worst thing that could happen here or there. It's like, waste of time, not interested in that. The mind is not plugging in to that whole radio station. It's like, not interested, don't care. I've done that for lots of years. I'm doing something else right now. I'm interested in possibility. I'm interested in joy. I'm interested in drawing the very best out of that scenario that is possibly in there to be drawn out. That's what I'm doing. And instead, then, I feel like I'm in the lead of my life. And so do you. Sending healing energy strengthens your own connection to the unified field, but I'm not just talking about sending it over there. You disperse and defeat your own collection and connection of the immensity and the magnitude of your being when you magnify it by staying in here, but allowing your field to express. The more in here you are, the bigger your field gets, and the more unconditional it gets, the more love that you're feeling in your own system. So you draw this into your life, and it gets healed by the fire in the hearth. It's that. You keep that fire burning, and everyone and anyone that you think about is automatically brought into this magnified greater love inside of you. The closer in you get it, the more concentrated it becomes, and it's invincible. It burns up anything and everything, and it's just ours for the having. And it fosters this feeling of love and compassion and purpose in the planet, on the planet, and in your life. It benefits your own well-being, of course. So I'm always thrilled to be sharing these ideas that expand us and allow us to start to just crack the seal on who we think we are. So the next time somebody pops into your mind, know that as you are loving into that thought, into that image, into that memory, into that realization and that awareness, the more you're actually facilitating this individual in whatever it is that they are awakening to and efforting into manifesting in their lives. It happens automatically. It's right there. You can just crack a little smile and keep on keeping on into the duties or the chores of your day, but don't think for a minute that you're not having an impact. We've known the power of prayer for so long, and we've known the power of embodying that prayer through chant and focusing that prayer into an intention. We have images and videos of Gregorian monks chanting prayer and bringing it in. And we can watch on video a tumor literally dissolving in the face of embodying this vibration that I'm speaking of. And so that was there for decades before artificial intelligence was generating such things, has in my mind the deep clarity, the succinct, poignant knowingness of this possibility. Not to mention that I've experienced these things in my own life, and I know you have too. It's just a matter of you connecting the dots and what they really are. So thank you for joining me in this conversation, the Art of Awakening podcast, blending science and spirituality to empower you to create a life that you truly, truly love. If you'd like to dive deeper into remote healing, then check out the show notes. There are details about my upcoming Energy Codes Remote Healing and Transmission and Techniques course. Of course, if you want to lean into that, I'm always here for you. You'll learn powerful tools to anchor and integrate healing energies within you and to support healing for yourself and others around the world, no matter the distance, no matter the purpose, no matter, or rather the diagnosis, what's been happening there, no matter how long. So everything is energy, and energy knows no boundaries. And this is true in your life too. So I hope that you'll join me at some point in accepting that for yourself. So it's always a joy. Please subscribe and share this episode with someone who might benefit from this message. Someone maybe on the other side of the planet. And maybe you can play together with this idea of the two becoming one in the frequencies that we all share. That common ground called a greater love. Until next time, I'm Dr. Sue Morter. Blessings to you all. Bye-bye for now.